In 10 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up next, it's Open Line right here on Talk Today. You can talk about just about anything you have on your mind. Get it off your chest. Pick up the phone and let's chat. Talk Today's next on Radio Cayman, 50 years strong. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Thank you for tuning in. Just me here today. So it's your show. Do your thing, Express yourself. Pick up the phone. I thought I had some guests, but, that didn't work out. So I've been left here to just slowly twist in the wind, as they would say. Remember those old westerns? The camera slowly pans, and there's the guy hanging. Well, give me a call. Let's chat. The numbers to call, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, or 949-6990. You can also reach me on WhatsApp. That number is 925-3261. And we can chat about whatever, Did you have a good Easter weekend? Yeah? I hope so. Well, I ended up doing some work, but, it's still got some relaxation fever came over me, and that took charge. So, laying around and just enjoying the long weekend, always great to change the routine up, right? And after a while, you start to say, I could get used to this, I guess, It's always great when you have the privilege of shutting down. How was the camping? All the campers out there have a good time? It was kind of windy. What was it? I think it was Good Friday. Had some good wind blowing. I hope all you campers enjoyed yourself out there on the beach, getting together with the family, out there with nature. Just taking it easy with the fam, no deadlines to meet, no reason to rush off anywhere. Just taking it easy. It was a good story in the Compass today about camping. It was featuring the Ramon family. They were camped out on the South Sound beach there. Apparently that's the family tradition. They go to South Sound beach. Been doing it for a long, long time. I guess from what I was reading, something, I guess maybe 50 years more, right? But, yep, reality has returned. We're all back at the grindstone. it can really be hard getting back into the rhythm of work after you get a 4-day break. You're just like, let me reset the brain here. So what's happening? What's the hot topics that you got you worked up? Or maybe you just want to pass on something nice, something you experienced over the weekend or something. Doesn't always have to be controversial, right? Sometimes Cayman can be really boring. Yep. But that's why we enjoy living here, right? Yeah. The lack of drama. We just be chilling. No drama. Yeah, we have some moments, but for the most part, no fighting and killing, and we're just grooving on a sunny day. Lots of places around the world. You gotta watch where you go, watch where you step. You don't know who that stranger might be coming up the walkway to your house or knocking on the door to your apartment. And you hesitate to open the door. But Cayman's not like that, right? No drama. What's going on the Rock anyway? Let's see here. Taking a look at what's making news. Let's see. Well, looks like the airport, the expansion of the airport has taken a step forward. They're asking for environmental reports. The authorities, they have to do an environmental impact assessment. So they're now taking that step there. And they're going to be studying not only Owen Roberts, but I guess also, plans for development of all 3 airports in the Cayman Islands. Because, Little Cayman's airfield is up for big changes. And they're talking about, expanding, the Charles Kirkconnell International Airport on Cayman Brac. And I know some people think we don't really need to do this, but a place like Cayman, airlift and air access in general is important, and the whole the whole development of Owen Roberts, and I guess Charles Kirkconnell also. The development of those airports is pretty much the story of the development of Cayman. I mean, when I was a kid, which was quite a while ago, the airport was actually an attraction, if you can imagine that, right? People would go to the airport for something to do. And back then, of course, it was just, that simple little terminal building. And it used to be out closer to where the civil aviation part of it is now. Where that big dome is, where the weather station is. That was the terminal was out in front of that, right? So it was much closer to the main road. But people would go there for entertainment. Plane coming in, people would go to see who came home, who's going away, and just to see the plane land. It was, that came on in late 50s, early 60s, and just see who the latest arrivals were. Weren't that many tourists coming off the plane, but guys coming back from sea, they may have been traveling all the way from God knows where, Japan, the Europe, Middle East, because they got off a ship when their year was up, wherever they were, and national bulk carriers would fly them home. And I guess you imagine trying to get from, the Middle East or Japan, and the flight that you would have to go through, the connections that you would have to make. And then sometimes we all went to the airport, and we were disappointed because, and LACSA was and BWIA were the airlines flying in here. And sometimes you go to the airport, expecting to see people coming off the plane and plane landing and blah, blah, blah. And LACSA would just keep on flying over us. And they were low enough that you could actually see the plane. They wouldn't stop. There was no reason for them to stop. They didn't have anyone for Cayman. So they just kept going, and everyone was disappointed because no entertainment for the afternoon, right? LACSA was going to go straight over to Costa Rica, right? Yeah. That's where LACSA was flying out of. All right, we have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charlo.
Hey, there's my man, the poet laureate himself.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? You had a good Easter?
Yes, sir. Not bad. Try to make it a little spiritual too, but thankful. I have a story for you, Mr. Charlo.
You have a story.
An Easter story.
Okay.
Short story.
Okay, short story. All right. Let's hear it.
Alrighty. It's based on a true story. It's entitled What a Easter. Not what an Easter, but what a Easter.
Okay.
Here goes. You ever see anything like that, Bobo? I mean, they caught the fish right there and cooked them too. I know what you mean. Cousin, boy, what a fisherman. Now, that's a Caymanian fisherman to be proud of. And like I say, he's a good cook too. 'Cause I had to go back and get a second plate. That fish was so good. And the swanky was also impressive. Yeah, TD, the people say I should open a restaurant. What do you think about that? I think so. You did a good job on the beach too. That definitely is something to consider, cousin. Now don't be shy. Find a little spot and put your restaurant. We will support you, and maybe you can start small and do it on the weekends or something. You're right. I can see it now. I can name it Cousin's Hot Spot. I think I can design it pretty good. You heard that? He said that he will name his restaurant Cousin's Hot Spot. Don't sound too bad. So I'm looking forward to seeing that sign up, Cousin's Hot Spot. All right, PD, we will see how it goes. And that's the end of the story. written by Craig Brown.
Well, thank you so much for that. Cuz's Hot Spot.
Yes, sir.
The best fish in Cayman.
You're right. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for giving us that little gem.
Okay, sir.
All right. You take
All
care.
right. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Got to take a little break here. I think we might have. Do we have someone on the line? But okay. We're going to take a break. Be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from April 13 to 17 at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and it is open line. You're free to pick up the phone, give me a call, talk about what's on your mind, as we say around here. And we do have a caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Charlo.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, man.
Had a good Easter?
Yeah. Especially when Susan came back to work, man.
Yes. She's on the board right now, you know.
I know, a long time.
Susan at the controls.
Yeah, when I heard her yesterday morning, man, you know, it made me have a gorgeous Easter Monday. Yeah, you were talking about up to the airport them times back in the 50s. I remember all about it, man. Yeah.
We went there for entertainment, right?
Yeah, right up until the 70s, man, when the seamen used to go out. And well, I don't know too much about coming back, but man, I know me and Miss Gwen sometime would run into each other up and have a couple of beers, you know. Mm-hmm. I could never keep up with her. She was good for a case, one sit down, man.
Okay, all right.
I could never keep up with her, man. I remember they had American Airlines there.
When was that?
They used to call it the White Cunt.
What do you mean BWIA?
No, not BWIA, man. This was coming from Miami all the time.
American?
This was the white. Yeah, this was the White Cunt.
No, you sure you're not talking about BB?
No, man, no, not BB, man. This was a long time before BWIA, man.
Because they used to fly Viscounts too.
This was a 4-engine, right? And these engines, I don't know whether they were Rolls Royce or what it was, but they had a ring. They had a ring that from the time this plane left Miami, man, you could track that coming south.
Hold on, no, that's a stretch.
Yeah, you could hear her coming, my boy. Let me tell you, man.
But it couldn't have been American.
No, well,
American Airlines?
It's like, well, not American Airlines, but it's a airline out of America. Maybe it wasn't named American Airline at the time.
Yeah, because the only ones I know about was BWIA and LAXA. They used to fly here in the early days. I think Eastern had a little time in here. But this was a prop plane?
But it was called the Viscount.
Yeah, but I know BWIA used to fly the Viscounts too. But anyway, the airport.
I don't know how that go, but like I tell you, from time that left Miami, man, you could track that coming south. Yeah, man. Well, Charlie, I had an experience this morning in the supermarket too.
Yeah, I hope it was a good one.
And no, I don't know what's going on here because, last week the brethren were talking about all this opium came on and thing, but I tell you, Charlie, this is twice I see it now. Black cassava.
Black cassava.
I never seen this in all my years that I've been here. Eating cassava. And look at that cassava. Black cassava, my friend. I don't know where this coming from, what kind of opium this is, but I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
All I know, I never buy none of it. You know what I mean? No.
Black cassava sounds kind of suspicious, tell you the truth.
I never buy none of it, man. Trust me, man. Trust me. But this is twice I see it in that supermarket. So.
But you're talking about the inside when you cut it.
No,
on the outside.
Yes.
Well, maybe something with the soil that it was grown in or something.
Well, I don't know, Chalo, but I'll take on John Boy. That's how I eat that one. Anyway, my brother, later, man. Good to hear you guys.
Thank you. You have a good one. Black cassava. Okay. As long as the inside is not black, everything should be okay. But yeah, talking about the airport has been this I should say I guess the state of our airport has been symbolic of the rest of the development in the Cayman Islands, because as we were just talking about there, you used to be a place that you just go to have something to do, and it was sort of like entertainment, and maybe one, maybe two flights a day, and probably not every day either, right? And now, we have gone from that simple terminal building, that little wooden building. Well, actually, we've gone from seaplanes, right? From landing in the North Sound, that was the original airport, to having a modern airport with some of the biggest airliners in the world flying in here. You can be in New York in a few hours, be in London the next day. So the airport has come a long, long way, and it looks like we're not finished yet. Still more to come, because they have what they call the 2041 Airports Master Plan, and that's calling for extensions of the runways. Owen Roberts and Charles Kirkconnell, and of course Little Cayman, not to leave you out. The airstrip there is not fully what an airport should be, but Owen Roberts is in for further expansion, and one of the things that has drawn criticism from the environmentalists is the idea of extending the runway into the North Sound, and that is part of what the plans are calling for. The business plan that everything has to have a business plan. Your business case, I guess you would call it rather. The case for doing that is that we need the longer runway if Cayman is going to be competitive in the tourism business. A longer runway is going to be enabling larger, wide-body aircraft to come in here, do long-haul flights, and bring in tourists from, destinations that are further away than what we are dealing with now. And that is how we must remain competitive with other Caribbean destinations who, have more land space than we do, have longer runways, and can handle, those large aircraft that do the long-haul flights. So what do you think about that? Do you think we need to be expanding the airport and putting the runway into the North Sound? So the call for environmental impact assessment is on. I'm sure people are going to be bidding on that. And one of the good things, though, that's part of the plan is that the future plans call for having jetways at Owen Roberts. That would be fantastic to be able to, get off an aircraft in a pouring rain and not have to worry about, getting soaked before you get to inside the terminal. Of course, they're very expensive, those jetways, but that's what the plan is calling for, along with extending the runway into the North Sound. And as late as January, Planning Minister Jay Ebanks told business leaders that the plans to extend the runway at Owen Roberts International Airport were moving forward, including expansion of the runway into the North Sound. What do you think? Do we need to do this? Do we need to spend, the money that it will take to make all of these improvements and expansions? Is that something that we really need to do? We have to take a little break here. Be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hi, this is Gary King from Totally 80s. My special guest this week is Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac. How Did she end up in the band? Stevie lets us know. I'll also bring you the latest news on the biggest stars of the decade.
This is totally 80s.
Every Saturday from 2 to 4, sponsored by KFC.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. It is Open Line here on Talk Today, and we have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cello.
Hi.
Yeah, the airport conversation.
Uh-huh.
But I don't have a lot to say about going into the North Sound, but except to say I don't believe there's anywhere else to go.
Well, yeah.
But on the subject of the covered, what do you call them?
The jetways?
The jetways, yeah. That's an absolute must. I mean, I don't understand why it wasn't a part of the last renovation.
Yeah, I heard it was cost.
Well, they would always say it's cost, but yet we find money to do all sorts of things that cost a lot of money. And, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about that a few years back, I went to Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and I was so surprised when we landed there that the airport was quite modern and had the jetways and all that. And, you know, Haiti is considered like the poorest country.
Yeah.
Not then only in the Caribbean, but in the Western Hemisphere, I think.
Or it's like one of those places where you're either rich or you're poor. There's no in between.
Yeah, that's true. And I saw both sides of it. It was a few years back when Carfesta was held there.
Oh.
So you know about that sort of thing. So we probably saw the better side.
Right.
But we also had times when we saw, you know. But I was absolutely blown away by some of the beauty of Haiti because I had never heard about that part of it. I'd only heard about the, you know.
Yeah, well, the bad news travels fastest, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But just to say that even in a country that they say is so impoverished, they had an airport that really put ours to shame, in particular that thing about having the jetways. And, you know, someone, I think it was one of the former tourism ministers, the minister at the time when we did the last extension of the building said, oh, our visitors get to enjoy our weather coming up. But
they got into enjoy being rained on.
Oh, man. And you know, in the hot summer months, it pours. It pours down, especially during the early afternoon hours when a lot of those flights are in, you know. And it's not just visitors, but if I'm traveling to or from, I don't want to get soaked from the terminal building to the plane or vice versa. So I think it's time for this rich little island, because we are so rich. I mean, you didn't get the bulletin that we are actually swimming in millions. We got lots of money. Tell them to put it to good use and make some good jetways.
I would welcome them, really. I mean,
yeah.
And it's not just the rain. It's not just the rain. It's just deplaning in general. It's coming down stairs, you know.
Exactly. It just seems, you know, this word that our people like to talk about, third world, whatever, and wherever the third world is. But I would think that we're way beyond this deplaning that we do down a staircase. I think we can move a step further now.
All right, well.
And that's it for me for today.
All right. Well, you take care. Have a good afternoon.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Yeah, you know, coming down steps, right? Some of them have a ramp now, right? Yeah. But, you know, carrying a bag in each hand, trying to come down the steps. If there was the jetway, it would be much easier to come out of the aircraft, just walking straight into a terminal, just seamlessly, and it would. I think everybody would welcome that. Now, whether we're going to see this whole thing with the expansion of the runway into the North Sound, if it's going to be expanded, that's probably the only direction you can go, right? If you come back inland, a lot of things be disrupted. I mean, you got buildings, and if an aircraft is going to be touching down much earlier than what it normally would, it's going to be flying in there, and it sounds a lot more complicated than going into the North Sound. And hopefully that can be done with, a minimum of disruption to the North Sound. We have another caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon. I agree with that last caller. I'm not sure about extending it into the North Sound. We probably need to extend it.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I don't agree that they couldn't possibly extend it the other direction. I know the road runs around the end of it, but how do we know how long it needs to be to accommodate? Do we know how long we need to extend it?
They probably do. If I can find it, I'll mention it.
Thanks. Well, they also were convincing us that we had to build a cruise ship here.
Mm-hmm.
Yet cruise numbers are up. Our little harbor is still beautiful and pristine and awe-inspiring when you drive by it. Here's the part about the airport. I really miss the inclusivity that this island used to have, and it's becoming so exclusive now, whether it's the $18 to $24 cocktails at the hotels rather than the old Holiday Inn when you had people mingling and mixing from all ethnic and social strata. I miss that inclusivity. It's just becoming so exclusive now.
Yeah.
It really is a shame. And I hear talk, I know Kenneth Bryan was really pushing this VIP airport that few or none of us will ever get to utilize. And
you mean for the private jets?
Yeah, for the private jets. And certainly we should welcome visitors of all economic backgrounds. I've been to the FOB, the fixed operations base that we now use. I think it's called Atlantic now, or the building is down at the other end of the runway. And I just don't think it's too imposing for billionaires to spend a few minutes in a lovely small lobby rather than whatever it is that we absolutely need to build for those that we probably will never get to experience or mingle with. You get my point?
Oh, yeah. I hear what you're saying.
All right. I think that's going to be a whole lot of money. I think if they don't have to extend the runway too far, you're already driving around the runway. They're doing road work on that section right now. They're repairing and modifying roads all over the island. I don't think people come here to see the little marsh area or even the cricket pitch. So if you had to extend it that way and somehow loop the road around behind it, depending upon how long it needs to be, I think that's an option that should be explored.
And my understanding is that the cricket pitch is actually, the land is owned by Civil Aviation, the airport or the airport authority.
That's never stopped government before. In fact, we've got examples of them trying to possess land that they don't own now by force. So,
yeah. But I'm saying they own the land.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the airport authority owns the land that they play cricket on.
Well, there you go. I mean, traffic's already a mess. If we had to drive another 600 yards around a little further to get around the end of the runway, that might be a less intrusive, environmentally option that should be explored. Also, up in West Bay, I never knew it, but there's a beautiful cricket facility up there that's seldom used. I wasn't even aware of it up in West Bay, where they had the Max 60 competition. Anyways,
Well, listen, you were asking about the length, how much they wanted to expand. It says the preferred development option to meet the demand for long-haul flights is to construct a 340-meter runway extension with an additional 240-meter safety area that will extend the runway into the North Sound.
So what is that, about 1,500 feet? Something like that?
I'll have to bring up my calculator.
But
I don't know why they put it in meters when we don't use meters around here.
The North Sound, though, is, that area, that's a fish nursery. I just think that's part of the beauty that people want to enjoy and come here from. They've seen longer runways in other places, and I get it. You want to accommodate any visitors that want to come, and the farther the reach and convenience. The jetways, I agree with the last caller. That's something we should have had long ago. Anyways, that's all I've got to say, but I just miss the old Cayman, as many of us do, where you had locals and expats and visitors.
Everybody could just get together.
Absolutely. We're losing that, and we've lost most of it. It's now all turning into a high-end, exclusive, out of our price range experience that few can enjoy.
Well, thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's 1 o'clock. Let's check in with the newsroom.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. In a newsletter released today, the Chamber of Commerce is highlighting the success of its 2026 Careers Education and Training Expo. The Chamber says the flagship event, which has been running for more than 3 decades, brought together students, school leavers, and job seekers to connect education with employment and help prepare Caymanians for the future of work. This year's expo featured 43 chamber member businesses and public sector employers from sectors including healthcare, law, finance, construction, technology, and retail, offering insights on career pathways, scholarships, internships, apprenticeships, and professional development. In international news, China and Russia have vetoed a UN Security Council resolution encouraging states to coordinate protection from commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, blocking the Bahraini-sponsored text despite 11 votes in favor. The vote comes as U.S. President Donald Trump imposes an 8 p.m. deadline on Iran to accept a ceasefire deal, threatening to destroy Iranian power plants and infrastructure if Tehran refuses. In a post today, he warned that, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, end quote, if there is no agreement. Iran has rejected U.S. demands to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and has threatened to retaliate against Gulf neighbors' infrastructure if its own power grid is attacked. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Alfred Berman Scott, 1914 to 1989. Alfred Scott was schooled in Jamaica and went to sea as a young man, and then to Panama, where he worked on the canal. When he returned home to Cayman Brac, he worked as a contractor and manufacturer of concrete blocks made on a homemade machine, floor tiles and aggregate. He served in the Legislative Assembly in the early 1970s, representing Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and was a Baptist preacher for a number of years. He was a philanthropist who was widely loved and respected. Mr. Scott, who was married to Miss Alta Aurelia Henderson, was a model husband and father who raised 12 outstanding citizens. Another son died at an early age.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Hello, Cayman. This is George. From April 1976, I've been tuned in, listening in, and calling in to Radio Cayman from the first time, the initial broadcast, and continue up until today. So I want to congratulate Radio Cayman and the whole entire staff.
Hold on a little bit longer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Let's check on the weather. It's 84 degrees here in Georgetown. It feels like 90 degrees. And the wind out of the west-southwest at about 5 knots. And the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies straight through tonight, and with light and variable winds, seas slight with wave heights at 1 to 3 feet, and sunset at 6:40 this evening. Taking a look at the radar, no showers in our area right now, and over at the Sister Islands, same thing. So that's our little check on the weather there. And I think we have someone on the WhatsApp line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
How did you spend your Easter?
Relaxing.
That's good. That's what it's all about. I was listening to the gentleman that was talking about traffic at the airport, and I know that I'm here longer than him. But I was born on Mary Street, and I've been here a long time. But I was just wondering, because it was a few years ago, it was suggested by, I think Mr. McLean was in government at that time, when he just, I don't know if it was a dream or he had brought it up, that I think that if you have, it's going to come to that we can have to get a little overhead bridges, the aluminum overhead bridges. They can, in Miami, I see a lot of them, they go overhead to beat this traffic. And
you mean like the catwalk, they call them?
Pardon?
The catwalks? Is that why that go over a road?
No. I'm not talking about catwalks. I'm talking about bridges.
Bridges?
And yeah, Miami got a lot of them. Aluminum bridges. Drives on them a lot. And they were talking about maybe just from by Red Bay, just get some bridges to get into Georgetown to eliminate the traffic and thing because the gentleman was talking about there by the airport, the extension of the airport, which that is right. That in the cricket area is owned by the government, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that the time is gonna come, might be in my and your generation, but they gotta have to get some kind of they can set them up aluminum bridges that beat the traffic that can eliminate so much pile up there from just before you get by Jose gas station in the morning time and then it coming in from the left there. It's really, really, really terrible. And the only way to eliminate that is to build some bridges.
You're talking about like an overpass.
Yeah.
Elevated road, right?
Yep. That's what
Okay.
I mean. And then they can go in, to get into Georgetown because really that area is a mess in the morning time. And more cars, more traffic. I don't know which scientist gonna come and figure it out that we need to get some overhead that we can get into town, even from the West Artillery, even that area to get into town. That's just my idea about it because I know I look up the history that from Shaden Road they had to get permission from my grandfather to make that road to go up to the airport. So I know about that traffic for a long, long time. I remember when I used to shovel sand down on the West Bay Road in the back of an old wooden truck to deliver to Mr. Flowers to make his blocks. So that was a long couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, many moons.
Yep. But I think to eliminate that traffic, and I don't think really and truly that they need to make that runway much longer because, I mean, the British Airways comes in and she don't have no issues, I don't think. Or maybe
Yeah, well, that's always the example. I mean, there's the whole thing about taking off with a full load of fuel and all that. But I think during COVID, they did it.
Yep.
They didn't stop in the Bahamas on those special flights, and I think the load was she was pretty full too. But I think the thing is they don't want to do it all the time. They want that safety margin, right?
Okay, but like I said, maybe a mile more could be okay, or like a quarter mile or something. I think the Cayman Airport the runway would been okay. I mean, that's just my idea, and I don't know. I don't know when school half a day they were closed when I would get by the door, but I think like a quarter mile would be good enough for the ties to come in there, when they just gotta get used to it, Because I knew in over in Tegucigalpa, they discontinued that airport there now, but years ago, American Airlines, she would fly in from Miami to Tegucigalpa, and when we were going on, the pilots would tell us, if you look out your window, you can see the women in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
in their tortillas. And it was true. I mean, she was on a mountain. It was a very dangerous airport. But I understand now that they discontinued using that, But I was just saying, for Cayman, we're not going to mountains or anything, I think probably like a half a mile extension or max a mile, we would have a good runway.
You mean, but you're talking about coming inland rather than going into the North Sound?
No, inland. Cross.
Well, a mile from.
Yeah.
You're talking about going toward Huldah Avenue.
Yeah.
And through the cricket pitch there.
And yeah, and it would be easier because instead of filling in to the east,
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a lot of filling in and stuff. Like
I don't know what the considerations are for the buildings that are beyond Huldah.
Yeah,
I can't think of any.
I don't know where they come up with
that new hotel down there that's higher up than everything else.
I don't know what they're gonna come up with, but I know going inland is cheaper than filling in. It take a lot of filling in to fill in the North Sound, But that's just my opinion. So.
All right, George. Good to hear from you.
Generation. Yep, same here.
Take care. Have a good afternoon. So, a couple of WhatsApp messages here, and I think this message is in reference to the gentleman who's talking about how we used to be so inclusive, and we're losing that. This person says, sadly, as a generational Caymanian, I certainly agree with all that last caller said. And okay, and this one is in reference to what George was just talking. It says, George is talking about flyovers, and they are not aluminum. I imagine it's a lot of iron and steel in those bridges. A flyover, okay. There's something to take you off the local road and put you into where you want to go. So they have all these terms these days, right? Flyover, catwalks. But yeah. But just something that, especially when you got a lot of traffic backed up, that can avoid all the little local roads, and something that would take you right into this town center. And talking about the distance, we were saying that what this was calling for, the preferred development option is to meet the demand, is to construct a 340-meter runway extension. And 340 meters, that's 1,115 feet. And then it says an additional 240-meter safety area that will extend the runway into the North Sound. So if I'm reading this right, it's the 240 meters that will go into the North Sound, and 240, let's see here, that's 787 feet. That additional piece there. So that's, I take it, how much would extend into the North Sound, which would be quite a bit. And, the environmentalists have already voiced their concerns, and I guess in some cases opposition to that, because you're going to change some of the balance in the North Sound. But that's what this environmental impact assessment is all about, to get some scientists in there who can take a look at exactly what is planned, how much dredging is going to go on, if any, what kind of material is going to be used, and make an assessment as to how that is going to change the environment of the North Sound. particularly in that area. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello? Hello? Hello, you're on the air. Okay. Must have gone to get, a sandwich or something, maybe. Put the phone down. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little while for me to get to you, but so we lost that one there, but let's see, we got Aye, okay. Thought we had a message in here, but I don't see any message on the WhatsApp. So, yeah, what's your ideas on this airport extension? Okay, one here. Jetways require additional building on top of departure lounge, which will cost millions. Well, let's see if I can find that one that Susan's trying to direct me to. Okay, here we go. Good day, Jallo. In regards to the airport, I think it would be best to be moved to a new location like East End. One time there was an idea to do that. What is it, about 10, 11 years ago? No, more than that. Yeah. More like 13 years ago, maybe. Yes, move the airport to a new location like East End, because that is mostly the first part of the island you see when approaching the island. Also, where else in the world do you find the airport in the central town area? That's a good point. Some places you got to drive a long ways to get to the airport, because there's nowhere to put a runway, or and no room for a future expansion if you make it too close to a town. But I know that idea was floated some time ago to build a whole new airport out east where there's, lots of land and no buildings to restrict where the runway is laid out, or any approach that you want to put. Make it as long as you want to make it, to kind of future-proof it, that once you put it down, you don't have to worry about going back and having to extend it, as we have done more than once. And it was being seriously considered, but it got shut down. But here, this listener here has brought that point back up again. And is that a valid idea, do you think? At this point in the game, with as far as we have developed, Owen Roberts, you would have to look at the money. Is it, value for money to do such a thing, to start from scratch with a brand new airport? We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon to you, Jallo.
Ah, Mickey, how are you?
Just fine, sir. Can't complain for an old man. Yes, I hope you had a peaceful, blessed Easter.
Indeed. I did.
On your family.
I hope you have one too.
Yes. I'm quite satisfied with one. Just firstly, the Viscount, the Vickers Viscount that Robert was talking about, that's BWIA.
That's what I thought too.
It's a British plane, Vickers. And they made a giant plane also, Vickers VC-10. Giant plane. They never flew that here, but it used to fly into Jamaica, I believe. A big plane with the 4 engines back off, like a huge 727 sort of thing, or the DC-9 that they used to fly, but 4 engines, a huge plane. It was Vickers VC-10. But talking about, it was definitely BWIA. Laxa and flew the BSC 111, is it? 111.
When they got the jet.
Laxa, and then, yes, that was it.
But they came in here on a prop plane also.
Yes, the Viscount was a turboprop.
Yeah.
Jet engine, but turboprop. That was what it was. By those times, no airliner was any more piston engine planes at all. They were still flying some airlines, and Continentals, Supercontinentals, but they were from in the late 40s and 1950s, and still flying the Supercontinentals, the 3-tail planes. They had that.
Oh, yeah, I remember them.
I don't think any of them ever flew into Cayman. I don't think so. They were big planes. The idea of the airport extension, I have to agree with my friend Mr. Lawn there. We need the jetways to put them up. Yes, they cost money, but we spend money on a lot of things. How you get money. The money comes from taxes. You can call it fees, you can call it whatever you want. Anyhow, there's lots of money here, so there are ways and means of getting that money. We're awash with money, awash with it. No one can deny that. The airport, to extend the runway, you've got to wonder, is there enough market for it? We've got airliners here now. I see 10 sometimes on the airport runway all at once, and we hear direct numbers coming in. They fly here. The European market, which is what I guess they're talking about with long haul, and maybe even Asian, but how much of that is really relevant? Put it in the long term. I mean, for the financial success, I don't think me personally, I don't think that it's worth it. And I've heard others with much more knowledge than I have in my little half-idiot brain, that it doesn't make sense. There isn't enough market for it. We've got planes flying in here with every airline, and they would be connecting with the hubs that these big planes come in from Europe and come here right now. So what sense would it make to extend $100 million or more for that? $150 million to put it in. It would have to go into the zone. Extend it inland would be tragic. I think that would be an insane idea. Just my opinion. It would have to be into the sound. We can't extend. There are too many houses. There are too many buildings. And you have to have that safe area and so forth. And 1,500 feet would put it way past the cricket pitch right now. The cricket's somewhere around here past that. Then you have another 240 meters.
Yeah.
And then coming down. You've got to remember that most crashes throughout history have been on landing. On landing, we have the 2 big main hospitals, 2 of the main hospitals right there in town.
Those 2 figures is almost like 2,000 feet.
Yes, we can. Yes, so nearly 2,000 feet it would be in the end, from the end of the runway there now, which was extended 600 feet somewhere before, some time ago. No, I wouldn't agree with that at all. But to me, there have to be a market study. I know what my friend George is talking about. That would be a horrendous cost to those bridges. Millions and hundreds of millions. All we've got to do is stop importing so many cars here. We've got to stop building roads to accommodate cars. As I said,
you think any politicians are brave enough to do that? Restricting the cars?
Well,
go like Bermuda?
They're going to have to get some spine because we cannot continue to do this. How are we going to get the money to keep buying the land to build the roads? You know, this is.
But you're talking about like how Bermuda restricts automobiles, right?
Sure, unsolvable equation. You know, for equation to be solved, the algebraic sum of both sides must be equal to zero. And this is not coming out to zero when you do it algebraically. We've got to stop importing so many cars. We've got to do it. We can do it. It does take some courage. And then you won't need to build so many roads. You won't have so many cars on the roads. Put a moratorium. It's very easy to do. It just takes courage. And we can't continue with that. With this kind you're heading into a complete disaster as far as I'm concerned. We can, and they talk about the piers and so forth. I've always insisted we're going to need a pier for the cruise ship if we're going to stay in the cruise ship business, as they're saying here.
But they seem to be still coming.
Yeah, it is. It is necessary. If you're involved in the cruise business, you know it is necessary. It is necessary to stay in it because we're going to lose. And we see what's happening with it. We've got to get back to the last tender. So the shops are losing a half an hour is money. 45 minutes in each shop is money. And on each site and so forth, where they go on the tours, is money. These people have invested a lot of money in the shops and in the bus tours and so forth. No, we have to upgrade the pier anyhow for the present cargo pier and all that. That has to be done. And so talking about the pristine harbour, we don't have a harbour. We have a roadstead, really. As Captain Paul always said.
What was that word? Roy?
A roadstead.
A roadstead.
Yes. Captain Paul always talked about that on the radio, my cousin.
So what's the difference between a harbour and a roadstead?
No, but it's not a harbour. It's protected, really. It's
okay.
Georgetown is an open bay. It used to be all Hawkstyle.
I see.
Yes, and it's different. And then we're using where all the ships come in, cargo ships and all that, and have it as a marine park. I've never heard of that in my life anywhere in the world. Your main port is inside of a marine park. I mean, you know, President Reagan said something I've never forgotten. We all know how much our environment is valuable, but we're a small place. We decided to go real modern and build for big, high-end people. So we had to destroy a lot of mangroves and all that. But he said something. He said, you know, if you leave it up to the environmentalists, the White House lawn would look like a forest. And this you have to take those simple words to show you something. You know, there are two sides to everything. You have to balance it out. And we can't expect Johnstone Harbour to remain, or harbour they call it, to remain like that at all. As a main port where cargo ships dock, we're doing what, 40 times the cargo, maybe 100 times that we were doing 55 years ago. It was golden days we talk about. But
and still growing.
We have to be realistic. You know, so no, not to extend the runway into the. I don't think carefully about extending it any at all. I just build the jetways, the things that are necessary to upgrade the terminal, other things, a few $1 million. $20 million to upgrade things. It will go so. All airports are constantly developing. We see it with Miami. They never stop building. You never stop building. And anywhere you go, you see they're building onto it and modernizing it, renovating it to suit modern days and so forth. But I would think very carefully about extending if we do need to accommodate these bigger jets on a regular basis at all. Emergency basis are sometimes, and how they land first in Bahamas, and etc. Continue with that. But to see it extended, is there the market for it? I don't think so. Have a wonderful day. I listen on.
Good to hear from you, Mickey. We got to take a little break. Be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community, with fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And what's that message here? I remember hearing about a report that was done before we built our present airport in the 50s, that the Georgetown area had the best soil for any real farming. And I wouldn't doubt that there was some good farmland in the vicinity of the airport there. But good point raised by our last caller, Mickey. Is there enough European market that is interested in Cayman, the kind of vacation destination that we offer? Is that attractive to the European market enough to make it worthwhile to do all these plans to be able to handle long-haul jets coming in here, and they'll be able to refuel and, take off with a full load and go out of here again, which would need more runway. Is there a market there for us? Or do they prefer to go someplace else? And what is our capacity before we get too crowded? I was doing a little research on YouTube, and I just came across this this YouTube piece, and it was by some guy who's like a travel agent or something. And anyway, so he had one of these comparison things, and was, what was it? I don't know, seven Caribbean destinations to avoid and 7 that you should check out. And basically, the point of the 7 or 8 or 10, whatever the number was, that you should avoid was that they had become overdeveloped. You know, there were still good places to go to if you don't mind, being in a very commercial, overcrowded places. But if you're looking for something that is more relaxing, where you can mix with local people, there was the alternative that he was suggesting. And, it was places like Cancun. He was, pointing out it's just one hotel after the other. And so he said it was some other little island off the Mexican coast there that offered you a much more kind of cultural experience. You could go into the town, where you could walk around, etc. He was talking about St. Martin and several other islands too. And a number of them, the ones that he was saying, forget them, you could get a better experience somewhere else, was because of the number of cruise ships that were coming in there. I think it was St. Martin that he was saying, their piers could handle something like 6 ships at one time. And when you have that, and there's a number of days out of the week that you have that the number of people that descend off those huge cruise ships at one time, all within a few hours of each other, that the crowd was so much that the place was no longer as enjoyable as what it used to be years ago. And, places go through these phases of development, right? There's discovery, and then the rush of people that come after the discovery, where it becomes a hot place to go, and it peaks because so many people are going there, and then there's can be a drop off, right? Because just how this guy is recommending, oh yeah, it's a nice place, but people are everywhere, and if you go there, it's all inclusive. You're not really mixing with the people of that island. You don't get a chance to really experience what the culture is like in those places. To interact with the people who live there. Go. And he mentioned jewelry stores. That a lot of these places where the cruise ships go, the town right there in the vicinity is nothing but jewelry shops. One jewelry store after the other. You don't get to see what life is really like there. It's like you've gotten off of the floating hotel and gone to the jewelry mall, right? And that's basically what you see, is souvenir shops and jewelry shops. Whereas places that aren't as developed and don't have the cruise ships coming in, they're more interesting, just because you get to interact with the people who live there. You can buy genuine crafts that the people make that have some kind of cultural significance, rather than just a shot glass with the name of the island on it. How many of those have you seen? A shot glass with Cayman Islands on it, or a coffee cup. Here, I brought you back a gift from the Cayman Islands. It's a coffee cup. See, it says Cayman Islands right there. And you look at it, and it's made in Japan, or these days it's made in China, right? But it says Cayman Islands right there on the cup. Yeah, this is a Cayman Islands cup that I brought you from my trip. Whereas they can't find any kind of, genuine Caymanian craft, or even other islands are like that, because they come off the ship and all they see are all these jewelry stores, right? But I like Mickey's question about whether there is that market. Have we really done the research that Europeans or even people from Asia are going to take that flight to come to Cayman? Are we selling what they want? Is there that market for us? I know at one time they were also talking about South America as a potential market. What are the possibilities there? And again, we are a small place. How much more can we take and build and develop, and how many more tourists can we bring in here before everybody's crawling over each other and it no longer becomes a pleasant experience to vacation in Cayman? Yeah, we're gonna grow, but how fast and how much do we want to grow? Because I think we already have a record. We must have a world record in the speed of development for a small place like Cayman. It's 15 minutes going up to 2 o'clock. We're going to take a break. Be right back.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
50 years of Cayman's voice, the People's Station. Strong, dedicated, committed, where every story belongs. News, music, community events, and talk shows lighting the way. From Grand Cayman shores to the Brac standing tall. Little Cayman's heartbeat, we're here for them all. Radio Cayman, 50 years we stand. One people, 3 islands, broadcasting boldly into the future.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And if you have something to tell us about what's on your mind, give us a call, 1-800-534-8255. That is toll-free, courtesy of Flow. And you can also call us at 949-8037, 949-6990, or send us a WhatsApp message or call us on WhatsApp, 925-3261. But talking about cruise ships, I was driving through the waterfront the other day, and I don't know, must have been at least 4 ships out there. So I know my friend Mickey says if you're going to be in the cruise industry, we got to have a cruise pier. But, it seems like those who have been here and those who have heard about us don't mind taking a tender to get on land. we heard years ago about, and this was coming from the cruise companies themselves, that if you don't build that pier, you're going to be bypassed altogether, because there aren't going to be any ships that can stop and use the tenders to bring people ashore, because the ships are too big, too many people are on the ships to do it by tender anymore. But hey, they're still coming. No, I don't know whether they, the ships that are coming and the numbers they're coming at this year, whether they can supply or support, I should say, whether they can support all those jewelry stores out there. But, you drive through towns and there are quite a few tourists on the streets of Georgetown these days. And they like coming here. I mean, I've heard people who have visited Cayman by cruise ship say, this is still one of their favorite places to come. They can walk on the street, feel safe. No one's chasing them down the road to try and sell them something, because, sometimes in some of these ports, the people are there they're just trying to make an honest living, make a sale. But sometimes the way in which they do it approaches harassment. It might even actually reach the point of harassment, because it's like they're not going to give up on you. You say you're not interested in what they got, but they don't believe that. They're going to try and sell you this thing that they've got, whatever it is, that you must buy this from me. You have an obligation. You're visiting my country, and I'm selling this, and you must buy it. And I've had some experiences where it gets to be like, almost like you're thinking, how far is this going to go? How far are you going to chase me down the road, harassing me to buy this souvenir or whatever it is? They don't experience that in Cayman. And, of course, we got good beaches that they can go to. And we got those jewelry stores. And people come here and they feel good about landing in Grand Cayman, because it's a friendly environment. And people like to travel, especially cruisers, where they can, feel relaxed at the port that they're in. That, there's no pressure per se to, buy things from people. And that's why they keep coming back. Friendly people, good beaches, and enough jewelry stores that you can buy any kind of jewelry you want. And even good places to eat, right? Yeah, although I think most cruisers will save the eating for what they've already paid for on the ship. Well, man is going back to the moon, it seems. I thought they'd, done that and that was that. But apparently we're not finished going to the moon yet. Did you keep up with Artemis, the journey of Artemis around the moon and getting a good look at the dark side of the moon? And what they went further into space than any human being has done before. Good Lord. I mean, I remember, and it would have been 1969, right? 1969, July 20th. I was sitting on the 7 Mile beach at a family picnic. Don't ask me why we were there on June 20th having a picnic. But 1969, man set foot on the moon, and we were listening to it on a radio, having a picnic along 7 Mile Beach, and good Lord, how far have we come now? I mean, can you imagine in 1969, the guys who went to the moon, they had less computer power than we have in our iPhone today. Now, we've come a long way there because now the guys on Artemis, I'm sure they have a lot of computing power, but the plans are for America says they're going to return to the moon, and now they are genuinely talking about building facilities on the moon. You know, back in 1969, it was still a dream, even though they had gone there, and I thought they had kind of just abandoned it, right? It's been so long. But apparently it's back on the table. And, now they're talking about building facilities on the moon and going to Mars. That is a serious consideration that is on the table. And space travel is very much a part of the future. And if you heard the conversation with the astronauts and President Trump, he reminded them of the Space Force. I guess the military aspect of this whole thing. Because if you control space, oh boy, if you can control space, you control, I guess, what's happening on Earth. And everybody, what's that song? Back in the day, everybody wants to rule the world. Yeah. And space is going to be a big part of it. But we have a caller? Oh, a repeat caller. Okay. Good afternoon. You're back with us? You're back with us?
Good. Yes, sir. Mr. Charlo, I was observing for quite some time now the arts and crafts that are made, and I don't want to criticize because you got like some good products from other countries, made in other countries. But now, if you can have some good craftsmen, doing some good woodwork, well painted, polished woodwork, and different types of stuff that actually says made in Cayman, that the tourists can actually purchase and take back with them and show their friends, hey, I got this in the Caymans, or I got this in the Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, wherever. And I think that we need to encourage more of that here on our island, that we can try to make, design a lot of stuff a lot more things. I think it's a big market out there that will actually purchase these products that supposedly would be made in the Cayman Islands.
What kind of products would we make?
What sort?
Yeah.
I have quite a few ideas, things made from wood. You got jewelry, you got the Caymanite stuff.
We have perfume too.
Huh?
We have perfume.
Yeah. Yes.
Ted Green makes, perfume products.
Yeah, and I was listening to this girl on the radio a couple of days ago. She has her little products too. But I think it needs to be more. I think they need to encourage a lot more of our people to do stuff like that. It's like as a sort of a service, business service to the tourists and locals, because the locals will buy as well, and something that they can offer more that they can offer the tourists. More shirts made in the Cayman Islands, more dresses made in the Cayman Islands, more pants, shorts.
Yeah, we're not known too much for our manufacturing. But Brother Craig, it's 2:00. I gotta shift gears here. Okay, thanks for the call.
Yes, sir. Okay.
It's 2:00. Let's see what's making headlines.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. A new charity called the Caymanians' First Charitable Foundation has launched to act as a strategic catalyst for the prosperity and well-being of Caymanians in their own homeland, according to a statement today. In the announcement, founder Don Seymour says the nonprofit is committed to creating, quote, real pathways, not just promises, through vocational training, workforce readiness, youth and sports development, elderly support, and community upliftment across all three islands. In international news, the heads of the International Energy Agency, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank will meet next Monday to discuss the energy crisis triggered by the Iran war. IEA Executive Director Faith Birol said today. He wrote that the situation calls for all hands on deck and international cooperation to support governments facing the fallout. According to Reuters, Birol recently told a French newspaper that the current oil and gas crisis is, quote, more serious than the ones in 1973, 1979, and 2022 together, end quote. In other news, Wireless Festival will not go ahead this summer after the UK government refused entry to its planned headliner Kanye West, now known as Ye. In a statement today, festival organizers said the Home Office had withdrawn Ye's electronic travel authorization, denying him entry on the grounds that his presence would not be conducive to the public good, and confirmed Wireless is cancelled with refunds for all ticket holders. The BBC reports the move follows years of outrage over Ye's anti-Semitic, racist, and pro-Nazi comments. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said Ye should never have been invited to headline the festival and vowed the government will continue to confront anti-Semitism and protect the public. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and let's take a look at the weather here. It's 84 degrees in Georgetown. It feels like 89. The wind has shifted to the west at 5 knots an hour, and today's forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies, and that will continue into tonight. Winds light and variable, seas slight, wave heights at 1 to 3 feet, and sunset is at 6:40. Taking a look at the radar, all is clear around us. A little spot of rain here and there out at sea, but nothing really affecting us at this time. All right, so let's see some of our WhatsApp messages here. This is actually from the YouTube stream. Someone commented on there, but this is going back about taking the airport to East End. Our airport is in town. That's what makes Cayman different. Stop thinking to be like the rest of the world. This is why we are losing our culture. Some people want to change everything, it seems. Well, I didn't know that was a cultural thing, that the airport was in town. But, when you want to expand an airport, you got to have room to do it. And if you're right up against, your downtown area, it's not a lot of room to do that. Let's see, what else here? We're back to the flyovers thing, but there is so much to take into consideration when we talk of expanding the airport runway, building overpasses, etc. I personally feel that we have reached a saturation point with traffic we cannot handle anymore. There are easy ways to slow the economy down, and we need to do it. Moratoriums on vehicle importations, moratoriums on hotels and condominiums, and moratoriums on work permits. That's caps. Enough is really enough, and we have enough of everything. One area that has been growing exponentially is travel by private jets. All sorts of mega luxury private jets fly in and out almost unnoticed. What we need to examine is who is really arriving here. There are stories about the parties with drugs and dancers and strippers, etc. These ultra-luxury gated communities with mansions surrounded by every type of security imaginable. Cocaine is more common there than sand on 7 Mile Beach. A lot of stuff, Charles, and I really am beginning to dislike what our little paradise has become, from suitcases full of drugs all slipping under the radar and coming into that general aviation terminal. Do you actually know that? That's a heck of a allegation there. Let's see, we have another WhatsApp. Hi, Chalo, talk today. You gave a little laugh a little laughs a while ago about those jewelry stores, like, oh boy, it's going French on me. Layette Motif, Dr. Curtis Ellie Barnett. And I hear he has a book out. I'm going to have get him on here, right? Talk about a book that he has written. And we have a caller? Okay, well, let's go to the phones and WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden and Miss Susan and everybody.
How was Easter in the Brack?
It was, mine was good, and it was a lot of people camping out. I think some of the most I ever seen in my life with tents on the south coast of the island, which was so nice.
You know, someone asked about that, if people camped out in the Brack. So apparently they do.
Yes, certainly. Every year they do that on the south coast of the island, near the public beach area, near where the old DVT area used to be.
Yeah.
It's some of the most, or could be the most I ever seen in my life for Easter. It was, some of them started from Thursday evening and went right through till like Sunday evening and until yesterday before some of them packed up. Even until last night, it was still some remaining, which is quite delightful to see. Very interesting to see that. That's good, making use of.
Did they clean up afterwards?
Yes, that's what they are supposed to do. Yes, they do that.
Okay. So what's on your mind?
This morning, we had down my way down toward the west end of the island, we had a gust of wind on a squall up to about, I would say, 35 to 40 miles an hour. It didn't last long, and it was a rainy morning, but it rained off and got better into the afternoon. A very unusual type of weather for April, for Easter, but things went well. Never heard of any mishaps or anything. Things went well as far as I know. It was a good Easter, and it gave people a good break from work from Thursday until Tuesday. That was a long weekend holiday. Very nice. People get a good break from work. And today and yesterday is just super gorgeous days on the sea. Fishermen going out and catching ocean turbots and trying for not many kingfish around, though. And today is like glassile calm all around both islands. Right now I'm watching a Chevron super tanker headed to Venezuela to load up Chavez crude oil to head back for Pascagoula.
Who's crude oil?
It used to be Chavez.
Okay.
It's not there anymore, yeah. Venezuelan crude oil, the Murray crude oil. Yeah, what they're doing with it, they're sending naphtha, which is a product similar to kerosene, very thin type of chemical product.
Mm-hmm.
They're shipping that from Houston and Corpus Christi to Venezuela, and they use that to dilute the thick, heavy crude oil in Venezuela, so it will be more pumpable and more usable for gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. The refineries in America was actually designed for handling heavy grade and thick crude oils, and now the American crude oil is very thin. The Guyanese crude oil is also a very thin crude oil. So the refineries have more difficult time with the thick, heavy crude than the light crude oil. It makes things a lot cheaper to refine the crude oil from the American crude oil and the Guyanese crude oil, versus the Venezuelan crude oil is very thick and heavy. And speaking about our gasoline and diesel, the last ship that came to Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac loaded the gasoline in Houston and Corpus Christi, Texas. They loaded the diesel fuel.
Is that where it usually comes from?
Pardon?
Is that where our fuel usually comes from?
Yes, Houston and Corpus Christi and St. Croix. Been several shipments coming from the U.S. Virgin Islands where they have storage tanks there for millions of barrels of crude oil and gasoline and diesel, jet fuel. Tankers been loading in St. Croix and coming straight to Grand Cayman and offload and then go other places as well. That small island, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Island, has one of the biggest storage facilities and refineries in the Western Hemisphere. Same as Freeport, Bahamas, has a massive fuel storage capacity, and Aruba, Curacao, and the Dutch island, St. Eustatius.
So where do you know where, like in St. Croix, where does that oil originate from? Do you know that?
Comes from all over the world.
Okay.
St. Croix buys crude oil from United States, from once in a while from Guyana, and Norway, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, quite a big supplier, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and ships it in super tankers from Brazil to St. Lucia, St. Croix, and they refine it there, making
and then we often get it from St. Croix. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct. The Chinese has a 10 million barrel storage facility, storage tanks leased in St. Croix. 10 million barrels, that's five among the world's biggest tankers. Takes five of them big tankers to fill up the tanks what the Chinese have. And another interesting thing, the Chinese are selling diesel fuel, load it in China in a super tanker, and bring it to St. Croix, store it there, and resell it to other buyers in the Caribbean, which could include Rubis or any other company in the Caribbean. They shops around looking for the best prices where they can make the most profit, buy it at the cheapest and sell it for the highest price. That's what just about everybody is doing now, including all our groceries and hardware products and everything. That's the way it's going now.
Well, Raymond, I got to take a little break here, but thanks for the update.
Okay, fine. Yes, good afternoon. All the best.
Take care. And I think we have a caller on WhatsApp. Hang in there for me. We'll be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Pneumonia, meningitis, and serious bloodstream infections can all be life-threatening to infants and young children, but protection is available. Under the updated National Immunization Schedule, the pneumococcal vaccine is now given in just 2 doses at 2 and 6 months, providing strong protection while reducing the number of shots. Vaccination helps the body recognize these bacteria and prevents serious illness, helping to keep the whole community protected. Keep your child and others safe. Ask your healthcare provider about the updated schedule today. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability and the Public Health Department.
The Miss Cayman Islands organization, formerly known as the Miss Cayman Islands Committee, is looking for the new Miss Cayman 2026 that will represent us at the Miss Universe pageant in November. If you are a woman 18 and older, disciplined, respectful, intellectual, with leadership qualities, then this is the platform for you. Please email misscaymaninfo@gmail.com to receive your application and be a part of this new era.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and let's go straight to our WhatsApp caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, Mr. Glidden, it's me again. I was listening to my good friend there, Brother Greg Brown.
Uh-huh.
He has a lot of ideas, and I agree 100% with him because the stuff that we are buying in Cayman is coming in from other countries, the Philippines, India, all different things. But there is someone that I know on the island that makes craft and does artwork, and it's all local. He go into the bush in Cayman and get his woodwork, whatever trees he gonna do, and he do professional craft work. He does painting on canvas, born, raised Caymanian, and he has a lot of craft work that is made in the Cayman Islands and done by his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Brother Craig can look into that, because I think the only thing that the gentleman is short of is finding a place to display them. And
But he doesn't go to the craft market?
All local.
What about the craft market?
They're all, well, I don't know how that go. I don't know. But I'll give him, Mr. Craig, his number. His number is 323-3224, that anybody that wants to see or inquire about his work can call him at that number, 323-3224, and they would be surprised to know the quality of work that is done by a Cayman craftsman.
Yeah, well, he should go down to, the craft market. It's right down there on the waterfront. So, that would be the place to, make contact with the people coming off the cruise ship. Those are, and they're probably looking for something unique. Not something that you see in every other port that you go to, but the island name on it has changed, right? I would think that's the place for him to go. Are you still there, George? Or are you gone? He's gone? Okay. But, yeah, I mean, and that's the kind of person that, the craft market is intended to support. Cayman craftspeople who, like he says, works with local wood, just carving things out of his own imagination that has, of course, been, influenced by the culture that they grew up in. And that's what the craft market was, the whole idea behind it was to support local craftspeople. So I don't know why, it's been there for a long time. I don't know why this person has not checked out the possibilities of going there and being able to sell his craft work. But a lot of different ideas been floating through the airs of this program this afternoon, and we have gone from one person who wants to have a moratorium on any more hotels, moratorium on work permits. We've gone from that extreme, to we got to have the piers if you're going to be in the cruise ship business. I don't know about a moratorium on work permits. That sounds rather kind of extreme to me, because we simply have more businesses that need workers than we have population here. And a number of those businesses are owned by Caymanians, right? So can you really tell a Caymanian who needs an employee in order for his or her business to operate that they can't have that employee? You know, it's easy to say, well, employ a Caymanian. That's easy to say. But finding the right person with the right skills from a small population that we have is not always easy. Even when you set out to do your best to find a Caymanian, that's not always an easy thing to do, to find that person that fits the bill for the position that you happen to have at that time. I mean, it's just part of the reality of Cayman in 2026. We do have a caller. Let's get them on the air. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Hi.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
Yeah, right here, hanging on. I just tuned in. I was listening, wondering what is. You have a specific topic?
No, we're open line.
Okay. Well,
We've talked about expanding the airport. We've talked about tourism. Number of things have come up.
Yeah, that's a big spectrum. I don't know much to say about that, expanding the airport and things. That would only encourage more people to come on the island.
Is that a bad thing?
I think we have enough, It's like a good market that we got going on here in Cayman, but I believe that if we introduce too much, then it becomes a problem. We have more than we can handle at the moment.
Well, that might be something to consider.
Yeah. When it comes into tourism and encouraging more people to come in and occupy our island, we got to look at how the culture. I heard someone was talking, I don't know, earlier about looking at the people that we are bringing in on this island, because we have these private jets and stuff like it was mentioning that is coming in, and who is it that is riding these planes that are coming in with these luxurious ideas and all those stuff? It's kind of concerning, especially if they don't come with the same cultural alignment that we have.
But remember, there is a CBC, is that right? Yeah, Customs and Border Control personnel at General Aviation inspecting these people who are coming in on private jets. It's not because they're on private jets that they can just walk in.
That's not really too reliable, sir. That's not really too reliable, sir, because at the end of the day, how can I trust some of these CBC officers? Not to bash every one of them. I'm not painting a picture, but you have a few of them that are in line with some of these activities that would be considered criminal. Think about it. You got
what do you mean?
That has been recently arrested, that had a situation with I don't know if I would consider that domestic violence, but when it comes into their own relationship, how they deal with themselves, imagine how they deal with other people. Think about that. I look at it this way, right?
Well,
we inviting people into this country, right? That I'm gonna go to where I wanted to talk about something that is going on the island.
Okay.
Regarding how people have their.
We only got 3 minutes.
Our culture.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well. Quick time. Animal cruelty coming in and how people treating other people's animals.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend that is going through, in my opinion, tyranny with her neighbor, having to trap cats and stuff like that. I don't think that it is illegal to have capturing animals to harm them and to discard of them when they belong to a person. No, and especially when you know who the person is. That's vindictive. That's vindictive when they harass the neighbor up to a point where they're traumatized.
Let me get this straight. Capturing the cat to torture them?
Yes. When I say torture them, sir, look here.
It's certainly laws against
animals.
that.
Huh?
There's certainly laws against that.
Definitely. Now, this is why I am bringing this up. There are people in our community that will violate every single law as long as they do not like those animals. As long as they do not like those animals, they will violate every single law and freedom of these animals. And this goes towards the person as well, the people. This goes towards the people because they should have their freedom of having these animals in their yard.
Of course.
So
it's their pets.
So when I say that now, you have foreigners as well that are coming in on this island that are encouraging us to follow their ways. And their ways is not to like these animals. They don't like cats. They don't like dogs. They don't like chickens. They much less even like the lizards that crawl on the walls.
What kind of people are they? They don't like cats? They don't like dogs?
If I was to say what kind of people they are, they're just as much as what Benjamin Netanyahu calls those Palestinians. They're humanoid animals. And this is the problem that we have here right now. Only dogs fight dogs and cats. Only animals hunt animals. And this is exactly what the nature of these people do. They're hunting us down. And I'm not speculating. They're coming after our feelings. And then first off, when they can't come after us, they come after our children. This is something that really concerning in my point of view, because I've seen it personally. I've had to deal with people like this. And it's not nice when you have people that are being victims of these people, of these kind of people that they cannot defend themselves. They're not going to be someone like me that would stand up and talk. They'll just take it, and that's not right.
Well, what you're saying is very disturbing.
It is. That's why I have to mention it. And if people don't like it, they can turn the other way.
I mean, when you say hunting us down, what do you mean by that?
Okay, you got...
Do it as quickly as you can.
They have people that want to do things in their own places, that they're targeting them to not do it or run them away, which is, in my eyes, is the same way as hunting.
Okay. Well, listen, it's 2:30. I'm down to the end of the line here. I wish
I'd have to pick that conversation up tomorrow if we get a chance, but
okay.
We've got a lot of work doing so. Other than that, it's a serious situation that we're dealing with on this island. We're overpopulated. We have too much people with the different ideologies than we do, and that's not right if they have better rights than we do as Caymanians.
Well, we should all have the same rights. Thanks for the call. I got to say goodbye. That's it for Talk Today. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.